The following program was produced by a PAC TV community producer and does not reflect the views or opinions of the PAC TV staff or the PAC TV Board of Directors. The content contained herein is the sole responsibility of the community producer.
Hi, welcome to City Lights, City Streets. How are you all doing today? Pretty good? Good, glad to hear it. This is Mark and this is City Lights, City Streets. And how y'all doing again? Once again, I want to thank Louise. Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise. She got me this coffee. Hi, Louise. We had another guy that came up here and said something about Nathaniel Morton Elementary School. What about the teachers and the janitors that smoke in the building? You're going to pay attention today, right? All right. Very bright out here, so I'm going to wear my sunglasses. Start off with a little joke. All right? You know the path of truth where that is, right? The beauty of truth. Truth is beauty, but you don't want to see the bad part. You just have this mission to see the beauty of truth, but once you're confronted with the truth, you don't listen. You don't listen. You see, there was this guy He was in Virginia and his house was flooded. See, and the water was going way high, and the water was going up to his windows, and he's on the roof, and a rowboat comes by and says, "Quick, get in, kid, get in. We'll save you. Get in." The guy says, "No, I'm a very religious man. God will help me." So the water goes a little bit higher, and it's above the roof. I mean, not above the roof, but it's right at the top of the windows, and he's still on the roof, you know, and a helicopter comes down and drops him a rope and says, "Quick, grab the rope, grab the rope." And the guy says, "No, I'm a very religious man. God will help me." So sure enough, the water rises and drowns the guy. He goes up to heaven. He sees God, and he says to God, "God," he says, "I'm a very religious man. I thought you were going to help me." And God said, "I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. Likewise, it's the same when politicians are confronted with truths, but they don't listen. They don't listen. At Tanya Morton Elementary School, there's a student there that has cystic fibrosis, which is a disease of the lungs where they get so congested they have a hard time breathing and they die by the time they're 30 years old. So there's a student there at Tanya Morton Elementary School who has cystic fibrosis. Do you think any of the teachers or the nurses or the principal of the school would tell that mother of that child that, according to Corey Holmes of the State Health Department Emergency Air Quality Division, that it's the Tanya Morton Elementary School is the worst air quality in 200 buildings? Is this parent aware of that? Shouldn't the principal of that school, the nurse of the Tanya Morton Elementary School, contact that parent and who has the cystic fibrosis and say, "Hey, your kid shouldn't be here"? Because when you have cystic fibrosis, the last place you want to be is in a building that has the worst air quality in 200 buildings. That's sad. So they're confronted with these truths and they don't act. At South Elementary School, I asked Miss Gunning, the principal there, to call the State Health Department to get them on the ball for the South Elementary test results that are 8 weeks overdue. I said, you need to call because we need to know about the children's health. Don't you agree? She said, "Yes, I do agree," and she will call. Do these people have to be told such ridiculousness that they should call these state agencies to check on these reports? Does a parent have to tell these people to do that? Where's the justice? Huh? Where's Richard O'Keefe? Did he call? Do parents care? Parents call the State Health Department and get your schools tested. Timothy McVeigh is going to be executed May 16th. Mass murder, 168 people. I said on my show before, is there a difference between murdering 168 people and the government goes in and murders the Branch Davidian compound, 80 people, including 22 children, burning them, a fire death, a horrifying death? Is there any difference between Timothy McVeigh doing it, killing innocent people, and the United States government killing innocent people? Is there any difference? Yes, there's a difference. The difference is Timothy McVeigh is going to get the death penalty, and the U.S. government agents get off scot-free. Of course, our constitutional rights are being trampled upon. Gore Vidal, a prominent American writer, agrees with Timothy McVeigh's philosophy that our constitutional rights are being trampled upon. However, Gore Vidal doesn't agree with killing 168 people. Gore Vidal said Timothy McVeigh in the last 2 years have corresponded by mail, and that he said that Timothy McVeigh is a very intelligent human being. Now, the Attorney General Ashcroft and the rest of the United States government don't want Timothy McVeigh to talk to the press. Why not? They say because it'll incite other crazies to go out and do things. Well, let me tell you, people need to know the truth, even if it's from Timothy McVeigh. Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, when he bombed all those people, He wanted to print his manifesto, his writings in the paper, and the New York Times wanted to print his writings in the newspaper, and the United States government says, no, don't do it, it's wrong. We'll have every crazy holding us hostage and wanting to print their manifestos in the newspapers and stuff, their philosophies and ideas. Well, you know, the New York Times didn't listen to that. The New York Times printed Ted Kaczynski's philosophies, the Unabomber, and good thing that they did, because his brother, Ted Kaczynski's brother, recognized some of the verbiage, the wordage, and turned his brother in. So Ted Kaczynski was caught because of the thing that was printed in the newspaper. But the United States government said, no, don't print it in the newspaper. Well, by printing it in the newspaper, that case was solved. And likewise with Timothy McVeigh, we need to know what that boy is thinking. The more information we have, the better we can understand what's going on in the world. If a government agency didn't want Ted Kaczynski's manifestos printed, and the New York Times went ahead and did it anyway, and they solved the crime, likewise with Timothy McVeigh. Let's hear what he has to say. We can learn from mass murderers. Anyway, all he's saying is that his means were wrong, actually killing 168 people, but our constitutional rights are being trampled upon. Freedom of speech, use it or lose it. Use freedom of speech or get fucked every time. And this is City Lights, City Streets. We're going to talk about the selectmen. We're going to talk about town government. We're going to talk about all the people, Trifoletti, all these guys that are in the paper, okay? They're running for office. They see the beauty of truth, but they don't give you the answers. I'm going to give you the answers to Plymouth politics right now. Plymouth politics. Well, let's go with this first. Politicians vote their own voice. They don't vote your voice. Perfect example of that is there should be seatbelts on school buses. It's a safety issue. Hello, Mr. Richard O'Keefe, safety health inspector. It's a health issue. He could order it and say, yes, we want seatbelts. And Laidlaw should pay for it. Bus company, it's their buses. And I said that last week, and a busload of kids just crashed and killed a bunch of kids because they didn't have seatbelts. You need seatbelts on school buses. Doesn't it make sense? Isn't that the truth of the matter? Well, there's this representative, and he's got a bill pending in the House of Representatives that state that all people in Massachusetts, all school buses should have seatbelts. And he says, well, we're going to put it on the floor and see what the other politicians think. No, 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 no. Ask every parent in Massachusetts if they want seatbelts on buses. They overwhelmingly will say yes. Now, here is this pandering, this gerrymandering, this so-called, oh, well, we'll see what the other politicians think. No, I don't think so. The people want it, and they should get it. Ask any parent that you know and ask them if they would like to have seatbelts on school buses. And overwhelmingly, the response would be, of course. Instead, the politicians fight it out. Instead, the local health inspector, O'Keefe, turns his head the other way as usual. Instead of doing his job, he hides. He says he's afraid he's going to get fired for doing his job. You're not going to get fired for doing your job. You should be fired for not doing your job. Do you want the path of truth, or do you want to go down a thorny path of lies and innuendos and gerrymandering politics? Do you want the same political noose that is tied around your neck so tight that tightens around your throat so much that you don't have a voice? Of course we need seatbelts on school buses. It's a no-brainer. Okay. I talked to a sports reporter for the Old Colony Memorial, and he misrepresented himself. He said his name was Bob Matheson, but he was actually the sports writer for that newspaper. Do we want reporters lying to us too about their names? What does he got to hide? Idiot. I guess the public officials think that we feel that that our politics and our Plymouth politics and everything are in competent hands. I guess that's sort of right, but to complete it, to really say that that Plymouth politics is in competent hands is more like to say it's in competent hands. It's in competent hands. Eleanor Beth, this is Plymouth politics. Get ready. Trifoletti, Tavares, all you guys, listen up. We're gonna solve the crisis in Plymouth. It's easy. Like that guy in the boat. It's right in front of your face. You know, he says, "Oh, I'm a very religious man. God will help me." And he goes up to heaven, and God says, "Well, I sent you a boat and a helicopter for crying out loud. What more do you want?" The truth is there for you to see. If you don't want to see it, don't put us through the ringer because you don't want to see it. All right. Listen up. Let me get something out of my other book here. And this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets, Plymouth Politics, Plymouth Politics. Here we go. Oh, I got this whole bunch of papers here with all the candidates are running and everything. Boy, you know they're running because we want to ring their necks, the idiots. They don't know what they're doing. Oh, I got the wrong paper. Oh, no. Oh, yes. You'll find it. Hold on. Make yourself a sandwich. Here we go. Is this it? Oh, yes, this is it. Oh, this is so funny. You ready? It says moderator. It says Plymouth Town moderator. Vote for one. First, then there's Trifoletti. And he's a good man, yeah. He should be called Tripoletti because he's so big. Gosh, is he big. Trifoletti, he's a lawyer, see. And he's running for town moderator, see. And they list all his educations and stuff, see. And let's see. His top 3 issues and insignificant. Let's see. But I guess he got Mr. Bradley off the finance committee, and Mr. Bradley says, "Well, I think it was a political move." Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Michael Bradley says, "Revenue. You know, gee, thanks. Like we didn't know that Plymouth needs revenue. Hello, that ain't no answer to a problem. That ain't an issue. That might be an issue, but where's the solution?" I got the solution. Stay tuned. I got the solution to Plymouth revenue, Mr. Bradley. And then we have selectmen. Vote for 2, it says. So you got David Rushforth. He's a doctor. Yeah, doctor. You should see his nice house he lives in. Go drive by. See what kind of house he lives in. You know what he says? See, he went to all sorts of doctor schools and stuff. But let me just say something about being doctors and educations and stuff. All the education in the world, all the degrees hanging on the wall, all the shingles in lawyers' offices don't mean a darn thing. You have to have common sense. You have to have intelligence. If you can have all the law degrees in the world, all the diplomas on your wall, but if you haven't got common sense, you ain't got shit. And this is City Lights, City Streets. You have to have intelligence. Harry Truman, high school education, one of the greatest presidents ever lived. You have to have intelligence. Without intelligence, all the doctoral degrees are worth nothing. You hear me? Nothing. And this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. We're on 10 p.m. Monday night, 10 p.m. Wednesday night. This is going to be a repeat because this is an important show. Nathaniel Morton Elementary School air quality test, 14 weeks overdue. Child with cystic fibrosis in that school, breathing bad air, worst air in 200 buildings tested. Am I going slow enough for you? Dr. Rushforth. I don't see him rushing forth and getting potassium iodide for the people. Yeah, listen to what he says. Let's see here. Where is he? Oh, there he is. And David Rushforth is a radiologist. He should know about radiation. He should know about potassium iodide, that during Chernobyl meltdown, that the children that got potassium iodide didn't get thyroid cancer. And the ones that didn't take potassium iodide got thyroid cancer and died. Mr. Rushforth should know better. He's a radiologist. He deals with radioactivity all the time in x-rays. Hello, is this thing on? Is he a doctor? Is he? Call him Dr. Larry, Dr. Curly, Dr. Mo. And Dr. Rushforth says, he says these are complex issues. No, they're not. Revenue isn't a complex issue. You know? Why don't I get to the revenue part? Why don't I tell you how to fix the revenue part? We're going to go through everything first, okay? So we get David Rushforth running for selectman. We need a mayor. We all know that. And we all know that we need to bring the American local government and federal government into the new electronic era. Into the new electronic era. You have telephones. You call up every voter in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and ask them if they want more taxes. Okay? Let them vote. Let's listen to their voice for once. Well, I'm not going to go through all these these so-called professional, intelligent people. When I don't know how many times I've said it, the bad air quality in the school, and David Rushforth, is that his name, David? Dr. David, call him Dr. Larry, Dr. Mo, Dr. David, that there's the worst air quality in 200 buildings tested, and there's a child with cystic fibrosis attending that school. Do the parents know that the air quality is the worst in 200 buildings tested? Huh? Someone needs to tell those people. You know, the school committee, you know, oh, such pretty faces and stuff, how to fight school violence and stuff. No, I have the answers to that too. I have the answers to taxes. I have the answers to revenue, how to raise money. I have the answers to every political question that is facing Plymouth today. Okay? Because it's called intelligence. You don't need degrees. You don't need diplomas from Harvard. Use your brain. Look at the truth. And on all these other, hi, how are you, Joe? How you doing, Joe? And one of these other things that one of the other select people, they think they're select, but they're not. Look at some flaws in there, don't you think? They're not addressing the problems over and over again. They passed the buck. That buck is getting pretty worn out. But this is Mark, and this is City Lights, and this is Plymouth Politics. This could be any town USA, not just Plymouth, because this goes all over the country. So I'm going to refer to this now as any town USA. Here we are. I'm Mark Lord, and this is City Lights, City Streets, and we are in any town USA, dealing with local politics and how to make everything better in beautiful any town USA. How many times did they use these same words, these countless words, over and over and over again? If you don't have the path of truth, man, if you can't read a scientific report that plainly states in layman's terms that the air quality at Daniel Morton Elementary School is bad for children's health, teachers are getting chronic illnesses for life. If you can't read that and interpret that as something bad, there's something wrong with you people out there. There's something definitely wrong. First, as mayor, I would protect the health and safety of the public. I would get all the schools in Plymouth, make sure they have a properly maintained ventilation system, especially in the Daniel Morton Elementary School, where there is no local exhaust exists in the building. So what you have is stale air with CO2 and lack of oxygen. Ventilate means to oxygenate. Without oxygen, the body slows down. According to State Health Department air quality tests, which all the principals, superintendent schools have them, all the nurses have them, teachers are experiencing headaches, excessive fatigue, eye problems, sore throats, persistent colds, respiratory problems, confusion, and memory loss. Some of the school occupants are getting chronic asthma and other illnesses that they will have to deal with for the rest of their lives. Is this clear? Can I make it any clearer? Huh? It's kind of queer, I know. Oh dear, don't get fear. Get real. Call the health officials. Demand answers. Where's that report? The retest on the Daniel Morton Elementary School. Corey Holmes says he's going to fail again. Air quality test, state health, environmental, air quality tester said it's going to fail again. Because there's no local exhaust. As mayor, I would make sure there'll be a local exhaust system in that building. I'll tell you later how we can pay for it. According to professional medical doctors, teachers are getting chronic illnesses for life. You watching? Are you listening? Can I take a break now? Huh? Go make yourself a sandwich, for God's sakes. Not my sake. I'm the Lord. I'm not the God. But I'm here to tell you the truth. You gotta look at the truth. You love to see the beauty of truth. You pursue the beauty of truth. But when it comes to seeing the bad part of truth, which is the reality, you turn your heads away, 99.9% of you. Professional doctors do. Professional lawyers do. Professional administrators do. They don't care about your child's health. You know, if they had bad air quality in their offices, they would certainly do something. You get confusion and memory loss as well with bad air quality. Do you want children to have confusion and memory loss when they're trying to learn something? Come on, get over it. Cut it out. We're going to get the report in the middle of the summer after school's out? Well, that doesn't matter to me, but they are 12 weeks behind at Nathaniel Morton, and they're 6 weeks behind with South Elementary, and PCIS is being tested supposedly. Richard O'Keefe, health inspector, called that in, but we're going to check on that, and we're going to tell you the truth, okay? We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to hide in a closet. Second, as mayor, I would get rid of the many tons of spent nuclear fuel rods that are being stored at the nuclear power plant. These highly dangerous radioactive fuel rods are stored right next to the reactor core. This is an extremely dangerous practice because if the fuel rods caught fire, it could easily melt the reactor core and have a major catastrophe. Is this clear? Am I being simple enough? Even the man who was in charge at the nuclear power plant, Mr. Tarantino, was quoted in the Old Colony Memorial in 1999 that he was not concerned about the Y2 bug. You know, the year of 2000 when people thought the world was going to end. He wasn't concerned about that. He said, Mr. Tarantino said, and I quote, "I am not concerned about the power plant shutting down. but I am more concerned about the spent fuel rods that are stored there that might catch on fire. The nuclear power industry has already paid the U.S. government to remove these radioactive fuel rods, but to date nothing has been done. Am I going slow enough for you people of intelligence out there with doctoral degrees? Huh? Dr. Rushforth? Huh? You listening? Mr. Trifoletti? Selectman Tavares? And all you other selectmen? Malaguti? According to Mr. Tarantino, man in charge at power plant, as mayor, it is a great concern of Mr. Tarantino that these fuel rods be removed. And as mayor, I would make that my priority to have these rods, these radioactive, dangerous rods removed. If I have to go personally to the White House with a paid receipt showing the U.S. government that we've already paid for these fuel rods to be removed, and if you don't remove the fuel rods now, well, then we want our money back. We've already paid for the nuclear fuel rods to be removed, and if the U.S. government has taken years to react, then we want our money back. We paid for it, we want our money back so we can have someone remove the dangerous radioactive fuel rods that are sitting right next to the reactor core, waiting for an accident to happen. And without potassium iodide, all the children are going to die. Fact. Scientific fact, Mr. Rushforth. Or do you even care to read the reports of the National Scientific Association reports about potassium iodide? You sticking your head in the sand too? I notice your neck is getting a little long like an ostrich. In any other business transaction in the United States or the world, if you pay for a service to be done and that service is not done, you're entitled to your money back. Otherwise, it's fraud. So, if the United States government was paid to remove these nuclear radioactive fuel rods that are sitting next to the reactor core that, according to Mr. Tarantino, could catch fire and we'd have a major catastrophe meltdown, and he's more concerned about that than anything else, then if we paid for that to be done and the United States government refuses to remove those rods, well, we want our money back so we can remove them. And the culprits that are involved with holding that money and not giving it back to us is fraud, and we're going to prosecute the United States government officials who are holding back this money and put them in jail, just like you and me. If I offered a service to build somebody's house, they gave me the money and I never built the house, that's fraud. What, you don't think you can take the United States government to court? Of course you can. The greatest part of our democracy is to be able to hold these people accountable. Why wasn't Janet Reno put in jail for killing those 80 children and ordering that to be done, huh? And you know, if the U.S. government and the citizens of Plymouth, Massachusetts, or any town, USA, if they were to take the U.S. government to court concerning payment of and the removal of these radioactive fuel rods that are next to the reactor core that may catch on fire, which is a great concern to Mr. Tarantino, who runs the power plant, who talked to me on the telephone about that too about a year ago. Then no jury in the world or in this country would allow the government to keep that money. They would give it back to the citizens of Plymouth, Massachusetts, any town, USA, so that we can't have those fuel rods removed. As mayor, I would get potassium iodide because obviously people are dragging their feet about this stuff. If they're creating a dangerous situation at a nuclear power plant, which is already a dangerous situation, by storing radioactive fuel rods next to the reactor core, then we need potassium iodide that protects your thyroid gland from getting cancer. And it was proven in the Chernobyl accident, a real-life scenario. happened. Not a hypothesis, Dr. Rushforth. The facts are in, Dr. Rushforth. Radiologist at the Jordan Hospital. Radiologist. He deals in radioactivity. Well, read the reports about the potassium iodide and Richard O'Keefe, another public health official. He knows the reports. He's an intelligent man, but why does he turn the wrong way when the truth is right in front of him? For 10 cents a dose. At least have it in pharmacies in Plymouth so people can go out and buy it for 10 cents a dose. If I look at all you people out there in Plymouth, Massachusetts, 55,000 strong. If I say to you, do you want potassium iodide just in case there's a nuclear reactor accident, and that it's a fact that at Chernobyl the children that took it lived and the children that didn't take it died? What the hell's wrong with you people? You politicians out there, you health inspectors. Did someone hit you in the head? Just says you have fire insurance on your house. You may never use that fire insurance on your house, but you have it, don't you? Just like some people have fire extinguishers in their kitchen, in their cars. You may never have a fire in your kitchen or in your car, but you have it just in case. And then the Nuclear Regulatory Commissioner of the town here, I don't know who his name is, got to be a complete idiot too, because he says, oh, we're going to rely on evacuation. Why rely on evacuation when there was a fire at Pine Hills Golf Course the other day that shut down Route 3 for 2 hours? The prisoners in Plymouth County have potassium iodide. Why can't we? In order to protect ourselves from a nuclear radio accident, we'll have to become a criminal so that we can get protected from potassium iodide? From radioactivity, I mean? Get real, America. Anytown, USA. I don't know how much more simpler that can be. You know, a child of 9 years old walked out of Nathaniel Morton Elementary School the other day. He was 9 years old. He was fed up. He says, I'm fed up. And he walked out of the school, 9 years old. He must have watched my show. He must have realized that's the worst air quality in 200 buildings tested. He must have realized that a lot of the teachers there and the principal are idiots. I've talked to parents that said the principal yells at them. They want to have lunch with the kid in the cafeteria. The principal yelled at them. Is that any way for an administrator or a principal should act? I don't think so. As mayor, I would get that potassium iodide. Scientific proof tells you that you must. Dr. Rushforth, you're not rushing forth. Mr. Richard O'Keefe, Safety Health Inspector, you have the power to declare that we get potassium iodide. Why not? Wouldn't that be a sad scenario if there was an accident and a cement truck did tie up the highway for 6 hours, 10 hours, and all the children of all the selectmen and grandchildren are all in cars, and a radioactive, God forbid, a radioactive waste should come over them, they're all going to die. Do you care? It's a scientific test, a real scenario at Chernobyl told us that. It wasn't no experiment in a laboratory or a rat. They were human beings. Nuclear power industry gives people misinformation. We know that. United States government gives us misinformation. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I got my potassium iodide. My family's got it. As mayor, I would put video cameras in the classrooms. No, it's not Big Brother. It's not a bad idea. Big Brother is a good thing. Video cameras in the school classrooms where you have a monitoring station, and if you see any bullying going on, you can nip it in the bud and do the proper action. There are teachers that abuse students, and there are students that abuse students. And when a monitor sees that in the monitoring station, not only do they have a record of it, they can nip it in the bud. Not only that, these tapes of these classrooms would give us great insight into the psychology of the human species. Not only in the psychology, but in the sociology of the human species, which has been lacking for the last 2,000 years. We seem to know a lot about a lot of things, but we don't know anything about the human brain and their interactions. Well, let's get on the ball and do it. The government officials say we don't want Timothy McVeigh talking to the editors in newspapers. Why not? We want that information. We don't want information held back on us. When CNN News went to the Iraqi war, they weren't allowed to go into certain areas, hotspots where they were doing the battle. They were ordered out by military personnel. Do we want the military telling our news media what to do? I don't think so. How much clearer can I make it? If you had video cameras in the classroom, you could nip a lot of things in the bud. Also, as mayor, I would make sure that every child in every school in Plymouth, Massachusetts, any town, USA, has stress management. There'll be a class where they do exercises. They could do Chinese exercises. They could do Tai Chi. They could do yoga. All the relaxing exercises that the Chinese people have been using for 5,000 years. 5,000 years the Chinese have been using these stress exercises in schools, in industry, in workplaces, in government. They realize the importance of stress management. A lot of the bullying and killing that goes on in the schools is because of stress. Hey, 1.5 billion chinks can't be all wrong. Everywhere I go, people say, Mark, you're doing the right thing. Keep it up. I had a gentleman over here before I started the show. Talked about the cigarette smoking in the schools. You know, the janitors and the teachers. He said, I thought there was no smoking on the school grounds. Well, he's got a point there. I said, you want to come on and say your name and something? Oh, no, Mark, you do it, you do it. Well, I'm sick and tired of being the messenger with this information. This is the information that you give me. I'm reading scientific proof. This is not my opinion. I'm taking the heat, and you sit back on your watching TV, drinking your pina coladas and Coca-Colas. It's the real thing. And I get the flack. I get the crap. Well, I don't care. I'll take it. Okay. You say, Mark, how are you going to pay as mayor? Mayor Lord. Sounds that got a good ring, doesn't it, Mayor Lord? Yeah, I think so. But I ain't going to run, like I said. Oh, the politicians that run, there's a reason why they run, because we want to wring their goddamn necks. That's why they run. But if I were to be a mayor, first of all, I wouldn't run. I'd walk. I'd walk through the town. I'd knock on every door, every voter's door. I'd walk. I don't want to have the nomination papers. You have to write me in. I'm not going to go through your absurd political system where I have to raise money and I have to put on slick commercials. Bullshit. You want truth? This is how you get Plymouth out of its financial problems. Okay? Here we go. Get your pencil. Well, you might need a tape recorder because obviously nobody's listening. You need to watch this over and over and over again so it sinks into your muddin' heads. Your puddin' heads? All right. As mayor, I would pay for all these programs I just talked about, especially getting a local exhaust system at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School where kids are sick and chronic illnesses for life. Scientific reports, state health reports, professional doctors' reports, diagnosis, prognosis that said teachers and students are getting sicknesses for life. Do you care? I would build the much-needed parking lot in Plymouth. So you put up a parking lot. You know how much revenue a parking lot would bring? You know how much more tourists that would bring? Bring a lot of tourists here now that they know that they can park. Not only that, the more tourists, the more money they're going to spend. So you're going to make lots of money. And once you build that parking lot, money, 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 money. Maybe 1 million people a year visit Plymouth. So if even half of them use that parking lot at $5 or $10 a day, how much is that? You add it up. You're the experts. I'm really a nice guy. Pick a finger. We want you to come to see your senses. Thank you, Louise, for the coffee. Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise. Mr. Bradley, town moderator, he's running for town moderator. Hey, Mr. Bradley, oh, they kicked you out of the finance committee. I wonder if that was a political move. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Yep, more than likely. Yep. That's a real statement. Yep, I think there's some truth to that. Yeah, very simplistic. Yep. Get real, Anytown, America. Oh, I'm running out of notes. Oh, well, I'll just have to wing it then. There's so much intelligence up here. Hang in there, we're gonna do it up. All right. Lord's truth coming at you. Oh, I had that in my other notebook. Oh, I had that in my other notebook, what I was gonna say next. But thank goodness I'm intelligent. I remember. Okay. So also, to raise money for Plymouth, Massachusetts, Anytown, America, I would raise the cost, I would tax all alcoholic beverages 25 cents. Every drink that you drink in a Plymouth bar or a restaurant should be taxed 25 cents. You know how much revenue that would bring? Huh? And I would also put a hotel tax on rooms that are rented, a $3 hotel tax on every room. Isn't it time that the hotel and motel industry started paying back for the millions of dollars that they're making? That right there solves all the financial problems right there. And that would get you the video cameras in the schools. And that would get you the local exhaust systems in the school, etc., 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 etc. Hold on, I had the time written down here somewhere. What did I do? Oh no. I'm not too smart today. Ah, sheesh. Hold on. Make yourself a sandwich. Mad cow disease is going to get you. Yep. How many times have we been lied about that? 2 million cows, hoof and mouth disease slaughtered. The English people are saying, oh, it's a sad thing that all these cows are being slaughtered because we wanted to eat them. Yeah, we want to grind those little moo-moos up. Elsie the cow finally got revenge. That's the truth. Gosh, where is that time I had here? Darn it. Well, we're just gonna have to keep going. If the film is flickering, go with it. It's the camera, it's not me. I hope this comes through, and if it doesn't, we'll do it again for you. Okay. Teachers need to stop playing psychologists and psychiatrists. Teach them. Quit playing psychologists and psychiatrists. You hear me out there? Quit saying, oh, this child's nervous, this child bites its fingernails, or this child twitches. Well, for God's sakes, that's a normal thing for kids to do. I know adults that bite their fingernails from childhood until now. Concentrate on teaching them math and science and quit trying to play psychologists and psychiatrists. Dr. Moe, Dr. Curley, Dr. Larry told me that exactly that you know why kids are getting Ritalin in school and stuff? Because teachers are playing psychiatrists. They hardly know how to teach. They don't want to take tests. They don't want to take teachers' tests because 65% of them in local towns have flunked them. Teachers don't know what they're doing. They flunk these tests. Teachers union says, well, we don't want to take these tests because tests are unfair. Well, why do you give students tests if they're unfair? Come on, get real. We want teachers to be tested to realize how dumb they really are. Here's this guy, see? His best friend dies, see? His best friend. Yeah, his best friend dies, and he's all upset, and he goes to sleep, and God comes to him in a dream, you know? God says, don't worry. You know, I got good news and I got bad news, he says to the guy. And he says, don't worry about your friend, your best friend. When he died, he's up in heaven now, and all we do is play baseball all day, see? So it's a good thing. That's the good news. The bad news is you're pitching next week. And this is City Lights, City Streets. Thank you, Louise. Why don't you go see Louise at Dunkin' Donuts? Yeah, she's a cutie. A cutie patootie. I wonder if you want to go on a date, Louise? Come on, a friend date. You know, not no sexual dates. You know, a friendly date. Yeah. I think a guy who gets her is going to have a great coffee every day of his life. Hi, Louise. Hi, Louise. So should I go over it again? Yeah? Well, you'll see it Wednesday night again. It's on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. And it is on Tuesday morning at between 5 and 6:30. How about that 9-year-old kid walking out at Daniel Morton Elementary School because he was fed up, huh? I don't blame him. Kids have no rights. We have these tests in that are actually poisoning the children. That's exactly what it's doing. And I didn't say that. Professional doctors say it. And these kids can't do anything about it. They have to listen to these stupid, ignorant adults. How can they, with any kind of consciousness, come on TV and talk about the school systems and stuff when the ear's all polluted? I don't get it. I wish someone would call me and tell me. If you see me on the street, talk to me. This is your show, okay? If you have a concern, we'll gladly find the truth of the matter and get real. The family that was targeted for a racist hate in Plymouth, Massachusetts, they have a videotape of the culprit. It's dark. Get it to me. There are ways to electronically enhance it so we can see who it is. You need to get that tape to us. The family of the racist family that was, I mean, not the racist family, but the family that had the racist attacks need to get that videotape to me so we can electronically enhance it. And if we can't do it at the studio, we will take we'll ask the selectman, Ken Tavares, to give us $500 of that reward money and have a professional studio in Boston enhance it and lighten that tape so we can find out who those culprits are. Do you want to catch the criminals, or you just want to just sit back and twiddle your thumbs? Do you want the real answer to that problem? Well, that's it. Okay? That's how you catch them. See, the reason why there's a hate committee in Plymouth, Massachusetts, any town, USA, is because the politicians were getting hate mail. Oh, so all of a sudden, oh, well, we got to protect ourselves, you know. That's why they have this hate committee, not because to protect that family that had the racial attack. That makes them look good now, see. But they did it because... I don't like mentioning politicians' names because I like to, but why don't we just say one of the senators in Plymouth, Massachusetts, and the two representatives of Plymouth, Massachusetts had the scientific air quality test report in their hands and did nothing about getting a local exhaust system at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School. The principal of the school has it, the health inspector has it, school administrator has it, and they're not doing anything about it. Did they call the state health department and say, hey, the retest at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School is 12 weeks overdue? No. Did I? Yes. Gonna call them this week. Again. And you'll be seeing this show on May 7th, 2001. And then May 9th, 2001. The newest show. Keep you up to date. Eleanor Beth, town manager, makes $90,000 a year. She was at the selectmen meeting last week, and for her statements, one of which is so ridiculous, you got to hear it, that we paid her something like $200 that night to make a statement like this. Ken Tavares said that people should know, the town of Plymouth, or any town USA, people should know that there is tax relief for them, and that they should know that there is help for people that can't pay their real estate taxes, and there's tax relief. And Eleanor Beth made the brilliant statement, well, Mr. Tavares, it does say that you can get tax relief on their real estate tax bill in fine print. In fine print, she says. Now, anytime anything's in fine print, they're trying to hide something from you. The despicable lawyers that do it in contracts, despicable used car people do it in contracts, despicable real estate agents do it in contracts, the fine print. Well, that's just great. That's just great. Tell people that there's tax relief and put it in fine print. That's a good one, isn't it? So all you taxpayers out there, start reading the fine print. Yeah. $90,000 she makes. At one time, she made more than the governor of Massachusetts, who just recently raised $20,000, $110,000, the governor of Massachusetts. All right, here we go. You ready? You ready for the F word? You ready? F word's coming. Gonna be big time. Big, big F word. Big one. Biggest yet. You ready? Now, I'll have to wait. Okay, you have to wait till the end of the show for that one, all right? You stay up, though. It's a big one. Big, big, big. The teachers that have contracted. We'll have to ask Mr. Rushforth that word. That's a tough word. Contracted or contracted? Well, anyway, they got chronic illnesses for life according to their medical doctors' professional opinions from the bad air quality at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School. Now, these teachers that got these chronic illnesses for life at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School need to sue the town. Because there are cover-ups. It says so in teachers' letters and testimonials. They knew about the bad air quality. And if you have the scientific reports to back it up, you have the doctors to report to back it up, and you have their illnesses to back it up, they need to take the town of Plymouth to court and sue them. That's the only way local officials, local health officials, local politicians, representatives, and drag them all into court because they all had the test in their hands and did nothing about it to fix it, and sue them all and get a large settlement. Do you think that no jury in America would dismiss that case? The jury would award the teachers the money because the overwhelming facts, the overwhelming scientific evidence shows that these teachers were health problems for the rest of their lives. They would overwhelmingly, the jury would overwhelmingly deliberate probably for an hour or two with all this evidence on the teacher's side and award them a big cash settlement. And I urge them to do that. If there ever is a nuclear if there ever was a nuclear accident, I urge every parent that has a dead child to sue the town of Plymouth because they didn't have the potassium iodide on hand. Duxbury, Massachusetts has it. That's a rich town. Those are intelligent people. Well, I think that I think the people of Plymouth are just as intelligent because I explained it very simply, and they all seem to agree, Mark, yeah, we do need it. But why doesn't the health inspector order it to happen? But in Duxbury, Massachusetts, the health inspectors got it, potassium iodide for all the children at the schools so that they can have it, so that they don't get cancer. And any newborn babies that are being born automatically are affected tremendously if there's a nuclear radioactive accident, and they will all come down with cancer and die. Fact. Case study. Chernobyl. Children died who didn't have potassium iodide, got cancer of various sorts. The ones that took it lived. Why wouldn't you want to protect the safety of the children? You may never use these pills. It's a benign pill. American scientific organization that says it won't hurt you. It affects one person out of 10 out of 50 million with rashes or something or other. Would you rather have a rash or cancer? Don't let them say it doesn't do nothing. Seatbelts in schools, again. Can't say it enough. We need seatbelts in schools. Need video cameras in schools. The Laidlaw says, well, you know, some stupid remark. One of the Laidlaw bus people came out and said, this is what they said in the newspaper. I can't believe these idiots are talking like this. That she said, well, you know, we really don't need seatbelts in school buses because what causes accidents, deadly accidents, is speed. Speed meaning the vehicles. You know, let me tell you something about speed, lady. You can die, a child can die from a 20-mile-per-hour impact if its head hits the dashboard in a certain way. It can die. There are cases where they have died. 20-mile-per-hour impact. Is this fucking thing on? Are you going to take this crap from these stupid idiots that make these idiotic statements? Do you want seatbelts in buses? Of course you do. Ask any parent in Massachusetts. Ask any parent from Kalamazoo to Timbuktu. Of course they do. And what is that teaching children anyway? Oh, you have to put your seatbelt on for safety in a car, but not a bus? Come on. At Nathaniel Morton Elementary School in the boys and girls room, all they have is cold water to use to wash their hands. And kids, I'd talk to a medical doctor, and he says you need warm water so that the soap can congeal and wash your hands properly. Without it, obviously, kids aren't going to wash their hands, and you're spreading bacteria and E. coli everywhere. Actually, the state medical doctor told me this. The state health department medical doctor told me this last week. He says we're dealing with cases like that all the time, where there's just cold water in the schools and children don't wash their hands and they deal with these diarrhea infections and other stomach virus illnesses because of this water problem where there's no warm water to wash their hands. And he said to me, what kind of hygiene are we teaching our children? And he's right. But there's no law saying that they have to have warm water. You can be sure all the politicians in the State House have warm water. Well, that wasn't the big F word that's coming up. The bigger one's coming, so hang in there. Should we read some more politicians? It's like the comics. The truth is right out there for you. It's like the goddamn comics. The truth is there. You see, the truth is there, see? And all the lies, innuendos, ambiguousness, and political gerrymandering is on this side. And they go with the gerrymandering and the ambiguities and the lies and the wrong path when truth is right there as bright as a light bulb. Okay, this ought to be funny. School committee members, right? They must all be aware about the bad air quality because I talk about it enough. Some people say, Mark, quit talking about that air quality, bad air quality. Well, we got to keep talking about it until something's done because kids are being poisoned. How else you want to put it? Let's see here. It says Linda Lennox, 50 years old, takes a break from teaching to write her doctoral dissertation. I wonder what that dissertation is on. If you're on the school committee members listen to me too. And hi all you people that say at South Elementary School, at the administration building, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Hope you're watching. Miss Almeida, hope you're watching. Quit playing psychiatrists and psychologists. Anyways, Ritalin is a psychoactive drug. It's almost like LSD. It'll help probably 10% of the kids, but the other 90% don't need it. Maybe the confusion and memory loss are due to the bad air quality in the schools. And attention span, of course it is. So Dr. Larry told me that the teachers are playing psychiatrists and psychologists. That's why these kids are on Ritalin. Because these kids have overactive imaginations, their mind waters, all of a sudden the kid's a nut. You put them on a psychoactive drug, which has side effects of hallucinations, where one mother told me, now listen to me, okay? Just listen to me. I didn't say this. A mother of a child in the public schools in Plymouth, Anytown, USA, told me this. She said they ordered her child to be put on Ritalin. Ordered her. Well, she put him on Ritalin, and one day, this is what she told me now. Don't shoot me. Don't yell at me. This is what the mother said. She said that she put her kid on Ritalin because she was ordered to. And the kid came home one day, and the kid said, one of the side effects of Ritalin is that you think people are talking to you when they're not. You think animals are talking to you when they're not. You have hallucinations of witches on brooms, all different various hallucinations. You have insomnia. You have appetite loss. You have not being able to sleep, upset stomach, loss of appetite, thinking that people are making faces at you. Now, do you want your child to have all those symptoms? Well, anyway, this mother, I was at the Lala Java. Hi, Russ. At Lala Java. I was at Lala Java, and the mother says, you know, Mark, when I put my kid on Ritalin, and when he came home one day and he says, Ma, he says, I saw a bird, and the bird said to me, fuck you. That's what the mother said. And she says, from that day on, Mark, I took my kid off Ritalin. Do you want birds to be swearing at your children? Do you want your children to have hallucinations? Get real. Get them off Ritalin. In my day, it was called imagination. Kids are going to daydream. Get them off Ritalin. Psychoactive, LSD-type drug. You effing idiots. Teachers, stop playing psychiatrists and psychologists. You have a hard enough time teaching them anything. And this is Mark, and this is... You know what this is. I don't have to tell you. Housing. Remember Home Depot was going to go in Cedarville, and they were all upset, all the rich people. Oh, we're so upset. We want Home Depot. Here, please. We want Home Depot. No, please, no Home Depot. Nope, no Home Depot. But now a 330-room low housing complex is going to be built. Yeah. And you know what they say? Probably all the representatives, one of the representatives of Plymouth live in Cedarville. Yeah, has a business there, yeah. I'm not going to mention their names anymore. You know who you are. You know who they are. There's a representative, kind of looks like Woody Woodpecker. Yeah, you know who he is. DeMacedo? Yeah, he lives in Cedarville, yeah. You see, and there's a 330-unit low housing complex that's going to be built there. See, and they're all up in arms. Oh my God, no, we can't have low housing in Cedarville, rich Cedarville. Oh God, no, we can't have that. And I know what I say to that as mayor. I say, we need low income housing. We need it. People who make $20,000 a year have a right to live in Plymouth. They're not all criminals and drug addicts. They're not all thieves. They're not all lowlifes like you think. They're families. These people, these low-income housing people, 330 units or some such thing in Cedarville being built and being debated now, they need housing too. That's the American way. And if that is voted down, that's wrong. Absolutely wrong. You know, I don't get it. I don't get it. They have a right to the American dream as well. They certainly passed Pine Hills quick enough, didn't they? Pine Hills development. $1 million homes being built there. That's okay if you're rich. You can have a house in Plymouth. But if you're poor, get the hell out? I don't think so. And just because you're on a limited budget, your children can't have soccer school, they can't go to basketball school because you don't have the $25 to send them? I don't think so. You say you want to give kids good education? You want to send them to the science museum, but they need $50 to go? And if you don't have $50 to go, you sit at home while the other kids are learning about atoms and the structural elements, atomic structures of milk and gravity, learning about the pendulums and how the pendulums swing and what the pendulum do. And you alienate kids with low income and don't give them the education that you give a kid that has the money? So if you have $50, you can go to the Children's Museum. But if you don't have $50, you can't go. The kids that can spend the $50 can get an education. The kids that don't have the money get the no education. In the American justice system, I always said it right from the beginning, George W. Bush, who won the election, because blacks' votes weren't counted, because illegal ballots were used. Illegal ballots. Illegal ballots. What part of illegal don't you understand, America? And I always said, Bush is going to win because he had $80 million in his war chest. Gore had $50 million. Whoever has the most money in the political system and the justice system wins. You pay for justice. You don't get it unless you have money. You don't get an education in Plymouth, Massachusetts unless you got $50 to go to the Children's Museum. If you don't have it, you don't go. Your child is denied a soccer, being able to play soccer or baseball because you don't have $25 registration fee. Since you don't have money, since you're a hard-working person, you don't get a housing either, do you? Only the rich. Go down there and see Dr. Rushforth's house. Very nice. His address is in the paper. I'd give it to you, but why should I? He lives in a very nice home, and he says he just wants to keep Plymouth elite. He wants to keep the rich. He wants open land. Well, open land does nobody any good. We need housing. From Timbuktu to Kalamazoo. Are you listening, America? Do you care, America? Do you care? I don't know. But if I was mayor of Munchkin Land, let me figure out the time. Hold on. I had a pen. What did I do with my pen? Let's see. So I started at and I said it was 12:40. So, oh yeah, 10 past. I guess still got 18 minutes or something. Oh, that's so good. Should we just, like, maybe I shoot back, because you don't want to see my ugly face anymore, do you? Let's see if this came in any good. I hope I don't get that. I'm here, don't worry. I see all you people out there. You see me? Is this close enough? Yeah? Now, you know, I said the F word tonight for reasons. I just didn't fucking say it just to say it. You know? People say, well, Ma, get a Howard Stern of the airways in Plymouth. I don't think so. You know why I'm not Howard Stern? Because I don't degrade women. Okay? I don't degrade black people. I don't degrade anybody. I tell it the way it is. They degrade themselves by the positions that they take. I don't have to help them. Officer Furtado, the one that's on the force now, I think it's Gary Furtado. Gary, when are you going to come on, Mr. Furtado, police officer, and talk about the criminal justice system and what you're all doing to help the kids and stuff? He's a good man. The police aren't all that bad as people think. They have a tough job to do. Support them. They should be making 100. As mayor, I would up their salaries 10 grand right off the bat. Right off the bat. Give them the respect. The town of Plymouth should give the police officers of Plymouth a $10,000 raise, each patrolman, because they deserve it. Maybe if you paid them enough, then maybe they'll have more self-respect for themselves and actually do a better job. I think that'd be the case. You know, people say at work and they say, "Oh, good job, good job, Joe, good job, Jim. Hey, Jack, great job." Well, where's the money? Show us the money. You can keep all the adulations, all the pat on the backs. We don't need them. We want the money. That shows that you care. That shows that you appreciate people. But this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. I don't know how people can object to what I'm saying right now. I use the F word. It's in the English. It's in the English language. It's in the dictionary. It's in every library dictionary. The big one now, the big book. Yeah, the big book. It's in every library dictionary, in every school in the United States. If you don't like the F word, get it out of the dictionary. Call Webster, not me. But the big F is coming. It's coming. So let's see. Told you how to raise money to get Plymouth out of the problem they got themselves into. You got these town moderators, you got these town managers, you got these selectmen, you get these town meeting members, you got this committee, that committee. They should listen to Jay Ferguson. Hi, Jay. Jay Ferguson has some great ideas when it comes to the library at Manomet. He solved that problem. He solved how to make money. But no, I don't listen to him. I don't listen to him. No. Mary Lampert of Duxbury, Massachusetts, who talked about potassium iodide in Plymouth, Massachusetts, about how to get it for the town of Plymouth, Massachusetts. Selectmen, no, they don't listen. No. Dr. Rushforth, no. Radiologists should know better. Yeah. No. Doesn't read scientific report. No. Doesn't know science. No. Science no good. No. Science good. I don't know. I don't get it. Then we have a town committee member saying about the dog poop on the beaches, Well, dog poop never killed anybody. Well, yes, it has. In New York City, it has. The lady that started the Poopa-Scoopa law proved that. She saw that the kids were coming down with illnesses in the park because they were playing around dog feces. And some of them died. Actually, some of them did die of E. coli. And that she got the Poopa-Scoopa law. So you get these dogs running on the beaches, and you're lying on the beach. You see dogs lying on the beach, and then the dog poops, and the owner picks it up, or he leaves a few crumbs. So you get your daughter, or your son, or yourself, the son yourself, or self or son, la-di-da. You lie down, your face happens to touch the poop, you don't know, you ingest it, you die. Perhaps. Possible. And this brilliant town meeting member says, oh, no one's died from stepping in dog poop? Again, read the science. I don't know. If I was mayor of Munchkin Land, pie for everybody, yeah. We're sick and tired of getting crumb cakes from the crumb cakes themselves. The crumb bums. That about sums up that yum. A ton of fun in the sun. Don't let them take away your gun. Don't let them take away your freedom of speech. Don't let them take away your constitutional rights. Don't let them trample on your flag. Don't let them trample on your life. Don't let teachers be psychiatrists and psychologists. Don't allow principals to yell at you. Take them to court. Don't allow local health inspectors to get away with not doing their job. It's quite ridiculous. The truth is here. I told you the truth. Watch it again Wednesday night, 10 o'clock, 12:40, and Thursday morning, 5 a.m. to 6:30. Monday night, that's Monday night, 10 p.m. to 11:30. I enjoy talking with you people. I hope I didn't upset too many people tonight. Like I said, you want the beauty of truth. Truth is beauty. I'll say this on my last show. I'll say it again. You see, there was this young man was in the pursuit of beauty is truth. And this young man was in pursuit of beauty and truth. So he came to Beauty's house and knocked on her door. And he says, I desire you, Beauty, the truth of beauty, the beauty of truth. And she said, come back in a week. And then you can have me. So he left. And while he was gone, Beauty took diuretics, didn't eat anything. And every time she had to go to the bathroom, she would defecate. She would go to the bathroom. She would crap pretty much, in these pots and urinate in these pots. And then when she vomited it, she kept all her excretions in these pots, see. So after a week, she looked all emaciated, malnourished, bags under her eyes, scraggly hair. She had all her waste material in these pots. The young man knocked on the door and said, I am back to see Beauty. He didn't recognize her because she had all, sunken in eyes, straggly hair, very skinny. And she says, well, you can have Beauty, but first look into those pots. So he went over there and looked into the pots and saw all the waste material, and he was repulsed. He went, oh my God, whoa, yo, So basically what the moral of the story is that most people, 99.9%, are in the pursuit of the beauty of truth. But when they're confronted with the actual truth, they run away. They're repulsed. Don't be repulsed from truth. Truth is a good thing. Scientific truth is a good thing. Don't run away. Don't run away. If you have any concerns, write me at P.O. Box 1503, Manamet, Massachusetts, 02345. I don't want you nitwits who don't understand what I'm saying calling me up and harassing me like you've never done before. You've never done that before, which is a good thing. Everywhere I go in Plymouth, Massachusetts and Kingston, Massachusetts, people say, I love your show, Mark. I watch your show all the time. It's very informative, very intelligent. Well, you know, that says a lot. And every time I hear that, I get stronger-willed to uncover more lies, ambiguous innuendo. Like I said, all the degrees in the world, all the doctoral degrees, all the lawyers' degrees, all the education in the world doesn't make you smart, doesn't make you have common sense. So you got to go after truth, and you got to fight for your right and your children's rights. Let's get the nuclear power rods that are spent fuel rods that are stored next to the reactor core that may catch on fire, a concern of Mr. Tarantino. We pay the U.S. government to remove them. Where's the service? Or else we want our money back so we can have them removed. What about the potassium iodide? Richard O'Keefe, health issue. What about warm water in the school? Health issue. What about seatbelts on the school buses? Health issue. Mr. Richard O'Keefe, public health inspector, has the power to enact all those things for the people. The people want them. Why don't we get it? As mayor, I would make sure that public officials would uphold the strictest sense of responsibility to the public and do their job. Also, I would take a minimal salary as mayor and hire telemarketers to ask them what they think. Do you want seatbelts in the school buses? Call up every single parent in Plymouth and ask them directly, do you want seatbelts on the school buses? Yes or no? Overwhelmingly, they will say yes. Tally the votes. Bingo, we got it. Anyway, it only makes sense. Do you want video cameras in the classrooms? Overwhelmingly, of course you do. Did you know, remember the Columbine shootings? The judge at the Columbine shootings, one of the students, the murderers there, was in his courtroom 2 months prior to that on stealing a car stereo out of a van, and he was on the news, this judge, and they asked him, Judge, did you see any erratic or strange behavior in this boy when you said that, when you sentenced him to, 40 hours community work for stealing this stereo? Did you notice anything unusual about this boy, this murderer that 2 months later shot all those people at Columbine High School? And he says, no, I didn't notice anything unusual, but also the judge said, I wish I had a videotape of those proceedings so I could view it to make sure that there wasn't something that I could have picked up. Now here's a judge, a federal judge, wanting a videotape of his decision of whether or not he said and did the right thing. So if a professional judge wants a videotape of a decision that he made, then it's important that we get these video cameras in schools so that we can see the abusive teachers, see the abusive children, get down to basics and fix it. Teach moral integrity in schools. Teach stress management by offering yoga as a requirement, or Tai Chi, any Chinese exercise method to relax the mind, body, and soul. Teach the kids tranquility rather than stress. Like I said, 1.5 billion chinks can't be all wrong. But this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. Let's see now, 11:40, 12:40. 5 more minutes to go. Okay, what else do we got? What other things can I unravel? Is this close enough for you? You want to get close? Give me a kiss. I love you all out there. And you should love yourself too. Don't ever say that you're a bad person. Don't ever say that you're worthless, because every single person is worthy of goodness and truth. And those kids out there that watch my show, we're fighting for your rights. And if any kid wants to come on the show, the parents have to come on the show. I know of children have told me that principals and teachers have abused them physically. And they're willing to come on to say that, but their parents are unwilling because they fear retribution. You can't fear retribution when it comes to your child's health and safety. As mayor of Munchkin Land, like I said, I'm not going to go through their political gerrymandering system where I have to register as a... No, write me in. Then they have to vote me in. Anyway, as a mayor, I wouldn't make decisions, my own personal opinions and decisions on all these issues. I bring it to the voters by telemarketing people, by calling up the voters themselves. I would hire out of my own pay, my own salary, 25 telemarketers, and in 2 weeks have the answers to all the problems in Plymouth and let the people in Plymouth decide what they want, the voters. Now, they either sink or die. It's up to them, not me as a mayor. A mayor should just be a facilitator. A mayor should just tabulate the votes on every issue. Do you want another bar serving alcohol? I don't think so. Do you? I think there's enough of them, don't you? Do you think they should ban smoking in restaurants and stuff? Of course. 41 carcinogens that are just as worse as benzene, one of the worst cancer-causing agents there is, are in cigarettes. And the health inspector should be banning smoking throughout the Plymouth land, America, any town, USA. Of course they should. But you know, they don't, because they don't have a mayor to tell them to do so. Anyway, as mayor, I could get volunteers to open up a school, college-degreed teachers that would take $10,000 a year just for the thrill of teaching students the right curriculum, the moral curriculum, the socially right curriculum, under 10th, in the field, teach school outside, and in the winter have temporary buildings built by the students themselves. And you don't have to pay these huge salaries, because there are teachers out there that are willing to teach from a philosophical and moral standpoint, and I'd find those volunteers, and we could have a complete volunteer school system that would teach children the basics of reality rather than dinosaurs, fossils, the Egyptian history. What do we care about the pharaohs? Who do we care about King Tut's nuts? We don't care about what the hell they put gold-laden coffins. Who cares? Who cares about the Assyrians? Who cares about the Aztecs? Who cares about anthropology? Oh, by the way, anthropology, Leakey, one of the greatest anthropologist families in the world ever, has just come out and said that we are descendants not only from ape, but from other origins. They had just found a skull 3 million years older than Lucy, and they named it Kenyathropus platop. Kenyathropus platop. And it has a highly evolved skull structure, and they think that we've evolved not from the biblical sense, not from the evolutionary sense, apes, but from another race unknown.
Deliverance Revival Tabernacle Church presents The Time Is Now with Pastor E.I. Osborne Jr. and friends, reaching souls unlimited with the gospel of Jesus Christ, raising up Jesus believers throughout New England, Canada, the nation, and the world. And now our pastor, E.I. Osborne Jr.
Well, praise the name of Jesus, for he's worthy to be praised. We welcome you to another edition of The Time Is Now radio and television program. I'm Pastor Osborne. It's my prayer and sincere hope that God will just use us right now and use this program as an instrument to minister to your needs. And I believe God is going to do just that. We've got a simple word for you. I call it, well, the Lord gave me the title, spring cleaning. Now, spring cleaning is something that many people do every year, but what happens is if you let some of the spring cleaning go, all it means is that next year or the year after or the month after, whatever amount of time you let it go, it just means that you've got more work to do, more to catch up on. What happens with spring cleaning is you get down during the spring cleaning, you get into the closets and you dig out some stuff that you're going to give away or donate, or you may get down in your kitchen around the sinks and around the tub and in the tiles. Spring cleaning, is when you get between the tiles and some of that dirt that's built up between the tiles and so forth. Every spring, that may be the time when you tackle that stuff, because it's not something you necessarily have time to do all the time. But you set aside time during spring to do those little extra jobs. And you know yourself, the times that you let it go, you had to work so much harder to then accomplish the same thing until you made up your mind you'll never let it go again. Well, that's what we want to talk about pertaining to your walk with the Lord, and something very specific in your walk with the Lord. Once you let some things go, it might take you so much more to overcome and to conquer and to triumph. But if you'll stay on top of it, if you do certain things on a daily basis, you'll find that it's so much easier. And you'll find it's just easier. So let's just leave it at that. Now, let's just take a moment before we get into this word very quickly to invite you to come and worship and fellowship with us in our Sunday morning praise and worship service. We're currently holding our services at the James P. Timilty Middle School, 205 Roxbury Street in Boston. And I must say, to those of you who hear us announce the address for the Timilty Middle School, who have written to us at that address, I want to ask you to please send your correspondence, your flyers, your announcements, whatever they may be, to us at one of our P.O. boxes. You can send it to us at The Time Is Now or E.I. Osborne Jr., whichever one, but at P.O. Box 3642, Plymouth, Massachusetts, 02361. Post Office Box 3642, Plymouth, Massachusetts, 02361. That's probably the best place to send it if you have correspondence, a prayer request, a need, a question, whatever it might be. Send it there, not to the Timilty Middle School. That's the school address, and I'm sure they're diligent and they do a good job, but there's no guarantee when a place that size that we're going to get our stuff, or it's going to delay it in some ways, possibly. If you send it directly to our P.O. box, then I'm sure I can guarantee that we'll get it, okay? So please do that with your prayer requests, questions, whatever it may be. And if you have a prayer request or a comment about the program, you'd like to order a tape of one of the messages that you heard, that's how you should contact us, or call us by phone, 508-746-4085, 508-485, 508-746, I'm sorry, I said the wrong number. 508-746-4085. Did I say it right? 508-746-4085. This cold is maybe affecting me. This little congestion and stuff I have here is affecting me maybe a little more than I realized. I should have stayed home. But listen, we've got a word. I've got this word that I want to share with you. I know it's going to bless you. If you'd like to be on our mailing list, we have a quarterly newsletter that goes out with the announcements and so forth of ministry events and different things. It's a blessing. Plus,